Some fighters hope to win. Ilia Topuria expects to win. He walks into fights smiling, talking about knockouts, and then actually delivers them. Calm pressure, clean boxing. One mistake, and the lights go out. But confidence like that creates enemies, inside the cage and outside the cage. Today, we're looking at the rise of Ilia Topuria, how a kid who moved across countries became one of the most dangerous men in the UFC, why his boxing is different from most MMA fighters, and which fight turned him from prospect into a real problem for the entire division. Stay until the end, because one moment in his career almost changed everything. If you're into real fighter stories, real rivalries, and the mentality behind elite fighters, you're in the right place. Subscribe to the channel and join the community, because we're building a full MMA story library fighter by fighter. Not just highlights, but the real stories behind them. And Ilia Topuria is a very special case, because his story is not just about talent or power. It's about belief, real belief. The kind of belief that makes a fighter walk into a title fight, already convinced he's going to knock the champion out. So let's go back to the beginning, long before the UFC, long before the belts, to where Ilia Topuria's story really starts. To understand Ilia Topuria, you have to start far away from the UFC lights. He was born in Germany, but his family is originally from Georgia, a country where fighting is not a sport first. It's part of the culture. Wrestling, toughness, respect. You grow up with that. When Ilia was still young, his family moved to Spain. New country, new language, new life. Imagine being a kid, moving across Europe, trying to find where you belong. For Ilia, that place turned out to be the gym. He and his brother started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and very quickly it became clear that Ilia was different. Not just talented, obsessed. While other kids trained, he studied fighting, positions, pressure, control. He wasn't just trying to win rounds, he wanted to dominate people. Later, he added boxing to his game, and that combination would eventually become his biggest weapon. Grappling that makes you panic, and boxing that knocks you out when you panic. And if you already watched some of his fights, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Get a hold of the legs.
By the time he turned professional, he wasn't just another prospect anymore. Inside the gym, people already said the same thing. If this guy ever reaches the UFC, the division is going to have a serious problem. And they were right. Ilia Topuria didn't build his record in big arenas, small venues, local promotions, sometimes more empty seats than fans. But one thing was already clear. He wasn't fighting to win decisions. He was fighting to finish people. Submission, knockout, pressure. His record kept growing, and more importantly, he stayed undefeated. Coaches and fighters who trained with him started saying the same thing. This guy is different. When he finally entered the UFC, he didn't act like a newcomer. No slow build-up, no quiet introduction. He fought like he already belonged in the top 10. He finished fights, called out opponents, and talked about the belt very early in his career. Then came the fights that changed everything. Not just wins, dominant wins against very dangerous fighters. At that moment, the division understood something. Ilia Topuria is not a prospect anymore. he is a real problem. When you watch Ilia Topuria fight, one thing stands out immediately. He is always moving forward, calm, patient, but always closing distance. He's not a wild brawler. He fights more like a boxer who learned how to fight in a cage. Tight guard, clean combinations, heavy body shots, and very precise counters. He doesn't throw a lot of wasted strikes. He waits for mistakes and then explodes. But what makes him really dangerous is that you can't focus only on his hands, because the moment you start worrying about his boxing, he can take you down. And on the ground, he's not just controlling, he's hunting submissions. Very strong top pressure, very technical jiu-jitsu, and once he's in a dominant position, he's very hard to escape. So fighters are constantly in a bad position. If they stand with him, they risk getting knocked out. If they focus on takedown defense, they get hit. If they get taken down, they get submitted or controlled. That's why his fights often look similar. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And then suddenly, the fight is over. But he's not perfect. One risk in his style is that he moves forward a lot and trusts his boxing and chin. Against the very elite strikers, that can be dangerous, because one clean counter can change everything. And that's exactly why some future matchups in this division are so interesting. Ilia Topuria didn't enter the featherweight division quietly. Very quickly, he had problems with multiple fighters, inside the cage and outside the cage. There was tension with Bryce Mitchell before their fight. A lot of trash talk and bad blood. When they finally fought, Topuria finished him and made a big statement. Then there was Josh Emmett, one of the hardest hitters in the division. Many people thought this would be a war, or maybe even Topuria's first loss. But Topuria dominated the fight and showed that he's not just dangerous, he can control elite fighters over 5 rounds. He also had public back and forth with fighters like Paddy Pimblett, which created even more attention and made his name bigger outside the cage. But all of that was nothing compared to the situation with the champion, Alexander Volkanovski. Topuria didn't just say he would win, he said he would knock him out. Many fans thought he was crazy. Volkanovski had beaten legends, dominated the division, and was considered almost unbeatable. But Topuria kept repeating the same sentence in interviews.
Yo no soy ni Korean Zombie, no soy el trapo ni de Jair, no soy ni el paquete de Brian Ortega, no soy ni la nariz torcida de Max Holloway, soy Ilia Topuria y lo voy a machacar en el primer asalto.
I will knock him out, and then the fight finally happened. The fight against Alexander Volkanovski changed everything for Ilia Topuria. Before that fight, Volkanovski wasn't just the champion. He had dominated the featherweight division for years, beaten Max Holloway multiple times, and many people already talked about him as one of the greatest featherweights of all time. And then came Ilia Topuria, undefeated, extremely confident, and telling everyone the same thing. I will knock him out. Many fans didn't believe him. Volkanovski was too experienced, too smart, too complete. Most people thought Topuria was good, but not ready for someone like Volkanovski. When the fight started, you could immediately see the difference. Volkanovski moving a lot, changing angles, very technical. Topuria calm, walking forward, slowly cutting the cage, waiting for the moment. Round by round, the pressure kept building. Topuria didn't rush, he didn't panic. He just kept coming forward, closing distance, making the cage smaller and smaller. And then the moment came, one clean shot. Volkanovski went down.
With another jab.
Snapped it off beautifully there.
Oh, shots.
suddenly the arena went silent for a second. In that moment, everything changed. Topuria didn't just win the belt that night. He proved that all the confidence, all the predictions, all the trash talk, it wasn't hype. It was real. From that night on, Ilia Topuria was no longer the loud, confident contender. He was the champion and one of the most dangerous men in the UFC.
And now, UFC undisputed featherweight champion of the world, Ilia Topuria.
Now I want to know your opinion. Do you think Ilia Topuria will dominate the featherweight division for years? Or do you think there is someone out there who will stop him? Write it in the comments. I read everything and I use your opinions and fighter suggestions for the next videos. We are building this MMA story channel together, fighter by fighter, story by story. And if you watched until the end, then you are exactly the type of MMA fan this channel is for. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next fighter story. Because the next fighter we talk about has one of the craziest career stories in MMA and almost destroyed his own career before it really started.